Hello and welcome to another episode of the Topbin90 Show. I'm one of the hosts, Jorge Gonzalez. We have our boys today, Andrew and Jonathan here. We are doing a episode strictly on the Super League because it has been a whirlwind in the last 48 hours. Boys, how are you today?
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Good to be back.
Nice.
Yes, sir.
It's really interesting of what's been happening in Europe the last couple of days. It's cost a bomb to like the point where like people that don't know anything about soccer, they're like, "Yo, what's going on?"
Yeah, they're now involved. Yeah,
Even those that
sense.
don't know about soccer, I was talking to a coworker today. I was surprised he knew about that,
Right.
what was going on. So it must be.
It's like
all
big
over
news around the world, to
Yeah.
be honest with you.
That just shows you like no other sport has the power that soccer does. You
It
know what I'm
doesn't.
saying?
Yeah.
Worldwide. It's not just U.S. Worldwide.
Not just Pitbull, but soccer's Mr. Worldwide.
This guy.
Nice. So it pretty much started Sunday where you kind of heard some rumors, oh, there's going to be a Super League. And I was like, okay, this will be interesting. Let me learn a little bit more about it. And then Sunday night, almost every club involved sent out a message saying, hey, we're going to be a part of it. I mean, the top six in England, which includes Liverpool, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal. Then you had Juve and the Milan clubs in Italy. Then you had Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico in it. Right? And I mean, it caused chaos everywhere. And yesterday, what's today?
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday, okay, yeah.
So it hasn't been 48 hours. It's about to be.
No,
48 hours.
yeah.
48 hours.
Yeah.
And yesterday, the president of the Super League went on a Spanish program, Chiringuito, and he talked about it and talked about the pros and
That's how you know Real Madrid's trash.
the pros of it. And then today, with all the negativity and all the backlash, all the English clubs have pulled out, and there were talks that Atletico and Barca were going to pull out, but they haven't as of yet. And so it's a whole drama in England, and a whole drama in all of Europe. And what are your guys' thoughts about this?
What did you expect was going to happen when you announced those kind of news, and those fans were going to, revolve and go against it? And my thought is, this is not going to be news for that long. You probably won't last that long. It's a good idea, but it seems like it's about to fall. It hasn't even been 48 hours. Most likely the Spanish club will be next, even though the president of Real Madrid is the head of it. And he went on Chiringuito yesterday and talked about it and mentioned a couple of things. I like the idea. At the same time, it has pros and cons, but I'm for it because there's powerful people in it. They're head of it, and they have made successful businesses. They're successful with their clubs, so they probably have a good idea. And I get the point where he mentioned Fiorentino yesterday. Teams are not getting as much money right now as before because of COVID, and they have to find a way. Champions League, UEFA is apparently taking a lot of money on their pockets because of the profit. And I get the competition. I get trying to make the your own league. I'm for it on the part where it can be during the week. Don't steal the La Liga, don't steal the Premier League. Your local club still play in your local league, and let's see what it's about. Let's move forward. I like the idea, and if it doesn't work out, doesn't work out. Champions League sometimes cannot be competitive. I see that side that he mentioned as well. The 90 minutes. You don't want to see a Real Madrid, Apoel 6-0. You don't want to see a Barcelona, Celtic 8-0 sometimes. And the Champions League doesn't get better until knockout stages. And I know that UEFA, right after that, they tried to counterattack, saying, hey, we're going to change the format of the Champions League. And it seems like it's a good one as well. But I'm for it. Let's try it out. Let's see. I don't think they should be punished, the teams and the players, because where it's going, why they're going against it. But that's me, and I know not everybody's going to like my opinion.
So I think, I like the idea. Like Jonathan said, there's a pros and cons to it. I will say this. I think it was bad timing from all the club owners to actually come out with the Superliga, the Super League. I think they should have probably waited by the end of the season to maybe announce it. I think right now it was just a bad timing. And overall, I think it was just a bad timing for them to announce it. And I think that's one of the reasons why they've gotten also a lot of backlash, because it's just not the right time. COVID's still going on. The almost all leagues are still haven't finished. But besides that, I want to go into the Super League. It has its pros. So I think right now Real Madrid, Barcelona, Juventus, a lot of these clubs are in debt right now. So logically, it makes sense for them to make a league. The thing that I kind of don't agree with is the fact that, where are the other clubs? It's just top clubs. You feel me? It's not. They're not going to involve other. I think I agree that there are times when the Champions League it does get boring. Like I know that, because with group stages it does get boring, but it's around like where the knockout stage when you start seeing
the top clubs
go at it. And it's much funner to see games like that. Like right now, semifinal, Man City against PSG. That's going to be a good game. Real Madrid against Chelsea. Great. I think those are good games. I think. I mean, I'm not saying I can't. I would have to really go into more. Like I would have to know more about it. I know a few things about it, but I would really want to know exactly how it would work, within the details to say exactly that. Oh yeah, I'm for it.
The thing
that
is
makes sense.
They don't even know. Like even Fiorentino said, "Listen, we're working it out." I mean, I'm opposed to you guys. I 100%. I think the concept is good. The application is stupid.
Yeah, That's how I see it. Yeah.
Why? Because it's gonna be like what the FA Cup is now. The Premier League doesn't prioritize it. If you're Liverpool and you have to play Real Madrid one week, then you have to play Burnley on the weekend, then the next week you have to play Barcelona. Out of those 3 games, you're probably gonna field your worst team against Burnley if you're not competing for the league, right? And what incentive is there in the Premier League? What incentive is there in La Liga? What incentive is there in Serie A if you cannot finish? If you don't win the league, you're still fighting for Champions League spots. You're fighting for Europa League spots. If you're guaranteed to be in a competition, the reality is Arsenal, Tottenham aren't going to compete for the league in the next 3 years, right? So they're guaranteed to be in a Champions League-esque kind of format, and they don't even deserve it, right? I mean, I get the part.
See, that's the problem I have also. Yeah. What you're saying, because you're right. It's just some of these clubs sometimes make it to the Euro. Sometimes these clubs, like Leicester City, not Leicester. Well, yeah, I could give an example like Leicester City. Leicester City won the league. You don't really see that often, and if you were to play in that wouldn't exist, if that makes sense. Like maybe small teams wouldn't be able to make it to the top or make it.
That's what I think takes the essence away, because Leicester, what they've done in the last 5-6 years is they've put themselves in the position where they're at based on the soccer pyramid that there is now.
Yeah, because they came from 3rd or 2nd division, I believe.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that you didn't like that they're always guaranteed that spot.
But yeah, there's no, and I believe this is what I read. There's no I don't know if there's going to be regulation in that league.
The first 15 teams that are actually part of the inaugural thing, they're guaranteed to always play.
You see?
And then there's other 5 that can go up though. But like Leicester City in this instance can go up. Villarreal can go up. Sevilla can go up.
Yeah, but if it's only 5 teams out of 3 different leagues.
But there's no Russian league in this part. There's
I mean, I like the concept. Competing. Like I personally I like the concept. Like I don't think it's a bad concept. But I just think that it has to be better. If they want to make something kind of like that, they have to really involve I mean, it's gonna be. I don't know. It's just
pretty
hard.
much dead at this
Yeah,
point.
I like
yeah,
it
to be
in the
honest
fact
with you.
that there's gonna be competition every time, and I don't like, of course, that they're guaranteed a spot. But because I feel like any other table, if you do bad, you need to
I
go
mean, it would
lower down.
it kind of it would get boring, to be honest with you, because there's not really regulate. Nobody goes down. It's always gonna be the same. Like
So it's more like a Champions League kind of tournament, not like a whole new league.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
It's
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
summer league here, that the ones that they play here,
Yeah,
or China International
yeah,
Cup,
yeah.
but with
this time
actual
it means
starters,
something,
it makes
yeah.
something. And I get what they're doing it because they're gonna get more views. They're gonna get more viewers, more money, revenue, and it's probably gonna last. It's only for right now. Maybe COVID
this is,
season. It's
but,
not gonna be
but
for
that's
everything.
exactly why these clubs have volunteered to be in it, because, like I
Well,
said,
they didn't volunteer. They got paid.
well,
to be
yeah,
in.
well,
If you
but
make-
they wanted to also
The
though.
winner of the Champions League makes around 125 million. To be part of this new tournament, you would have made 310.
Yeah, that's
right
what I
off the
heard.
bat.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
The winner, they were saying numbers like 400 million. I mean, to a Real Madrid, who Fiorentino Perez said that they were projected to make 900 million and only made 600 million. To a Barcelona, who are about to go bankrupt, pretty much. To a Liverpool, who have lost a lot of money. To Arsenal, who hasn't been in the Champions League in the last 5-6 years. It doesn't take a lot of convincing to get these clubs
Yeah,
on board.
that's what I'm
The
saying.
problem is that you select a few and you don't care about the rest.
The rest, yeah.
Right? It's like saying, hey, like, let's forget CONCACAF and not include them in the World Cup because the quality here isn't as good. It's like saying, hey, let's not bring any of the Asian teams because in reality, who's going to be competing for the World Cup is the European teams and Argentina and Brazil.
And that's the counter that you can, how you can see that cup going about it, that you're not including the poor, those that, that's what football, soccer is about, competing and competition.
We all love a Cinderella story.
We love a Cinderella story,
Yeah, I
but
agree.
how often does that happen in Champions League? How often does that happen in World Cup? That only happens in March Madness
Like
in basketball.
I think lies.
But then should those teams, since it doesn't happen often, should they not get the opportunity?
No, they should still get the opportunity. That's why that 5 team left still exists, because it's a 20 team
but
league.
out of those 5 teams, there's like 15 that are really good teams still. You're not including Bayern and PSG,
Which
You've got
they didn't want to
you have
compete
Napoli,
about.
You have Roma. You have a lot of great
They,
teams.
they can compete. Yeah, Napoli. But they
Even some of the Turkish teams.
yeah, and they didn't want to compete about Portuguese teams. Porto, we saw Porto knocking out Juventus.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Inter Milan doing well. AC Milan, I can't remember the last time they were in Champions League.
Yeah, it's been
But
a while.
right now it's about the names and numbers. They still have a lot of fans throughout the world. Milan, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Inter Milan, without even being when was last time they were very competitive? They were at top. When was last time they won a cup?
Yeah.
But
Which, I mean, I see the money aspect of this is the only benefit. They're thinking from an accountant perspective. Oh, we're gonna watch all of this. Like,
Well,
of course we're
you
gonna watch
got to
it.
think about it
But
though.
then, like, if you look at the concept of the whole, like, the Premier League becomes less attractive, Serie A becomes less attractive, La Liga becomes less attractive, and I mean, I don't think this Super League is gonna go through. But also, like, we should be looking at UEFA and FIFA because they're one of the main reasons stuff like this happens.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right?
mention that.
That's what I
Yes,
was-
you're right on that part. I was gonna mention that. So I this is why I also like the idea, because I feel like they've been doing FIFA. There's been a lot of scandal with corruption. UEFA, same thing. So, I mean, it makes, and then not just that. This is from what I heard. Clubs should be getting more, because I believe UEFA and FIFA make a lot of money. So what they were last time what I heard was that they want to know how they divide that money that goes into the clubs. Because there's a percentage that goes. I believe 90% of the money goes to the clubs, and then supposedly just 10% goes to.
It's not how UEFA divides the money. It's that it gets divided into too many people.
Yes.
And the top clubs
Yes.
don't get enough money.
Exactly.
That's the problem
Exactly.
that the bigger
Exactly.
clubs have. Which I can see a point to that because you know what? Like, we're gonna watch the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, the Liverpools, the Man Uniteds because I mean that's where the biggest fan bases are.
we are going to watch that. And I like that they are putting pressure on these organizations. FIFA with Qatar, how they're doing, and
They've been really criticized on the Qatar World Cup
and
about
we need
that
that
too.
And I know it won't get through. And it was an idea for 2 years, and I'm not anybody to be saying they should stay in the league and play this cup and eliminate Champions League. But you can play many cups. I know they shouldn't be playing 4 or 5 games a week, but if you have Copa del Rey, you can get rid of one. If you have,
and that's another thing they've been criticized, the schedule, man. I mean, the games they have, it's crazy. I feel bad for the soccer players.
Something has to die. Like, there's no way they can add another. There's already 4 competitions in England. No way you can have a 5th one.
No way.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's
true.
true.
I mean, even like the new Champions League format is not something that's impressive. They're adding more.
I know. I saw that, and for me, it wasn't impressive at all.
It wasn't.
It wasn't impressive. I prefer staying with the of course you always have to tweak it, but I prefer staying with the format we have now than going into that new one in 2024. That supposedly
it would be better if Champions League was just a straight knockout instead of groups. And I know that they added more groups. Which, do we even want that?
I know. Do we want to watch those games? That's the other question.
Barcelona is in the next round by the 4th game. Juventus is usually on by the 5th game. So the last two games don't even count. And now you're gonna have 10 in the league. So neither one is getting better.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think both are wrong here, though.
So the best thing that can come out of this is also, hey, like, everybody was behind UEFA and FIFA. But not because they're some sort of saints. It's because they hated this idea. But okay, let's take this same energy and put it towards UEFA and FIFA. Because you're right. You give a World Cup to Qatar, who doesn't really deserve a World Cup. What happens is people get pocketed money and they get the World Cup. You take the Super Cups and put them in the Middle East during a pandemic as well. Right? All because of what? Money. And you're pointing at these big clubs for wanting to do the same thing.
Not just that.
Guess what? Like, you guys... People should be taking a look at you. They should be looking at what you're doing. That's one thing I agree with Fiorentino Perez, what he said. He's like, hey, UEFA and these guys, they don't have any transparency. And he's absolutely right. Like, there should be more transparency. There should be more changes within UEFA and FIFA in order to make the game better.
And that's what they saw. That's why all these owners and big club investors, they got together and they saw that there is more money that they could be made. And right now they're struggling with COVID. And I know COVID and this pandemic should be bringing us all together, fans, clubs. And also I agree on that part where they're playing way too many games. We're seeing injuries. Liverpool are getting affected.
Yeah, Liverpool's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. I mean, the Liverpool-Madrid game, no starting center backs.
No starting
both
clubs.
Yeah.
And
another thing they were criticized is how they jump on these clubs for the Super League, but then they give a 10 game match to I believe to a referee. For racism.
It was a player.
It was a player. Yeah, a player. And so it's just it's true. It's just mind blowing how it's not a big deal if it's racism, but then when it comes to these big clubs, oh no, you can't do that.
They were looking to be to punish all these clubs. I mean, maybe that's why
it's just
some of them backed up.
The issue that I have with punishing the clubs is, like, you can't blame Klopp and Pep and the players. Like, bro, like, they had nothing to do with it. This should be fined to the owners.
They should get fined.
Hey, you're either paying this money or you have to sell the club or do something, because this was something that they didn't discuss with anybody. It was the executives and it was the owners of the clubs, and you're already starting to see the domino effect. Ed Woodward getting fined.
Yeah, Manchester United today.
Nelly at Juventus. He looks like he's about to go. So I mean, like, even when there's talks of, hey, like, we should punish these clubs, but I'm like, who are you really punishing? What did these guys do for them to deserve punishment?
You can't take Harry Kane or Cristiano Ronaldo out of a World Cup because they play for Tottenham and Juventus. They haven't done anything.
Okay, but the real
they have a contract, so they have to play for those teams. They didn't get an option.
My question here is, okay, so can they make an owner sell the club?
I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna be hard for FIFA to be like, okay, no, you got to sell that club because we don't want you anymore.
But the thing is now that clubs, the owners of Arsenal, the owners of Liverpool, the owners of Arsenal own the LA Rams and they're American. The owners of Liverpool own Fenway Sports Group, they own the Red Sox. They're American. The owners of Man United, they're the Glazers. They're American. You're pointing at these American owners in a European system where most of the people there understand that these guys don't understand soccer culture. So anytime they show up now, you're starting to see the repercussions. Like, none of them are going to be welcomed. It doesn't matter that they're the owners. So that's the beginning. Like, people didn't like them already
at the beginning.
This made it even worse.
It just made it worse.
Yeah,
and that's what they were mentioning. Some people put this change as the word Americanized. That soccer just got Americanized in the sense that it's all about money.
Yeah.
It's all about money, and it doesn't matter who's in the way. Just let's make the decision to make money.
That's one of the things that I personally don't like about the MLS and Liga MX, because when you have teams that are in a system where they can't really get relegated or promoted, it creates complacency. You can go with a 5-game losing streak, then turn it around, win 5 games, and qualify for a playoff, and then actually win something. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't really reward consistency. That just rewards the time frame that you're in.
This is one of the main reasons why MLS doesn't. I don't have that much attraction to MLS, simply because what makes it what makes it fun about Premier La Liga, Calcio A, Ligue 1, the fact that you know that if your team isn't playing good, you already know they're going to second division. Yeah. That doesn't exist in the MLS.
Okay.
You can be dead last in the MLS. Oh, but next year you're still gonna be there
because you get number 1
draft
pick.
I don't find that attractive in the league. Like, I don't find that. Like, I'm not gonna sit there.
Yeah, but you're a Barcelona fan, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you were a Cádiz fan or a Granada fan. It means something totally different to you.
Well, yeah.
Versus
you're right.
here, that's one thing I do like about it, is that anybody can compete. Like, even Charlotte, when they go into the MLS, like, we're not just going to be at bottom total point. We have an opportunity to do something. And every club has that. In Europe, they don't have that. And it's more of a power play, this same thing of a Super League. Hey, we're going to be guaranteed money versus like Arsenal's been losing a lot of money and they can't buy the same quality of player that they could before because they're not in the Champions League.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I actually like some things about Premier League, La Liga, the style that we have the leagues in Europe, and also some that we have in here in America, MLS. I like that if you can suck, you can be bad, you can be dead last one season, but then in the summer or in the winter, you can get a number 1 draft pick out of some university at center back, and that can change your whole team the next season, and you can start competing because you have a lot of young players that you picked up in the summer or winter, and now you're competing, but you didn't go away. That's the thing. You can't be last and still compete, but at the same time, if you're in the bottom teams, I like the draft style, but the playoffs, I'm not sure. You can either like it or hate it, because if you're number 1, usually the whole year the best goes to you're usually the champ.
Also, you have to understand the difference in how the MLS was made in the U.S. versus how they're trying to do this Super League, right? Like, a lot of people saying, they're trying to do it in an MLS format. And I mean, not really, because the MLS had to figure out a way to create a soccer culture here. Europe has a 100-year history of knowing what they're doing, right? So, like, you can compare it in terms of how it looks, but the actual makeup of it is totally different, right?
Yeah, because they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but I mean, the MLS, how they've done it, I think it was more out of a necessity. Like, it wasn't popular, so okay, like, let's make a franchise model. Let's do this, right? Like, here, like, the weather in California is very different than the weather in, North Dakota, right? I want to talk a little bit about Fiorentino Perez, because this man is going to get heat from everybody now. And I want to know the perspective of, like, in Madrid. Does this change anything when it comes to Fiorentino Perez for Madrid fans?
I like that you mentioned earlier the part where it was a bad timing. It was a bad timing. And I knew that, it wasn't going to get through at some point. And I know it wasn't a next summer thing. It was 2 years from now. In the part when I saw Fiorentino was the president, ooh, I was like, no, 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 no. This Real Madrid is in the semifinal, and you know UEFA how they can be, you know.
They said that they were thinking of kicking
It's not gonna happen.
Man
But it's not gonna
City,
happen.
Chelsea. No, I know, but
And
they
then-
thought about it.
And then
Though. They had a
crown
reunion
PSG
about
because
it.
they're the only ones left. No,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen. The thing is that I see Real Madrid getting affected in the fact that referees might favor Chelsea now. Hey, you know, that's Fiorentino's team right there. Maybe let's not call a penalty. That's not a handball.
This
And, uh,
guy. This guy.
And now Real Madrid will probably
Real
get,
Madrid.
This
right.
guy.
Real Madrid
man.
might get fined as well. And but it's gonna go away at some point. But let's remember, it wasn't just Fiorentino, but even though he's the head of it, there was other Juventus owners and presidents there.
The only problem I see when you talk in terms of like it's bad timing, I think if they would have done it next year or a year earlier, like it wouldn't have made a difference because of how disruptive it is to the culture of soccer. The only time the Super League would have been really, really bad is if you the only time that the Super League would have actually looked attractive to everybody is if we witnessed Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Real Madrid, Barcelona really struggle, and all these clubs weren't actually competing to the level that they could, and you saw like Barcelona's bankrupt now. They can't really buy anything. Real Madrid can't do anything. None of the great players that you see, none of the Mbappes, none of the Haalands, they're not moving on because they can't move on. That's where a Super League, I feel like, would have been like, people would have been like, you know what, like, we need these clubs to be big again. And that never happened.
And that's what Fiorentino mentioned last
And I
night.
think that's what Fiorentino thinks is going to happen, but I don't necessarily agree that it is going to happen, you know? And I think a lot of the things that he said like aren't true. Like, I get it that not everybody wants to watch like some of the lower Champions Leagues games, but like you're not. He said that 40% of 17 to 24-year-olds aren't interested in soccer anymore. I'm like,
Because
that's
of
a
the
lot.
length of time, but that's something else.
Yeah, I'm like, what are
They're
you
trying to
talking
change some rules and formats, and even he sounded like he didn't know too much what was going on.
Yeah.
But
That's why it's a
do you guys
project.
agree that the Champions League needs to be changed? Because that's the real top. Like that has also played into it because
It needs
they
to improve. It
yes,
needs to
that's what I've heard.
improve.
Exactly. So that's what I've heard. They want to tweak things with the Champions League, and like I said, the 2020 when it comes out, the 2024 format, I don't like that. I don't think I prefer this format that we're like. I know that we have to tweak it, but I think that this format, this is my opinion. I think this format, I like it better than the other one. Kind of what you were saying, because you might meet the big teams later on, so you're not gonna really watch like that 2024. You're not really gonna watch those smaller. You're not going to really watch those small teams play in the Champions League, if that makes sense.
And that's what Europa League is for those lower teams. But I see why they were doing it. You know, they
Yeah,
want to make
100%.
money. They need it right now. That's the only solution they can think of. And a prime example is the Italian league. They have been bankrupt.
But why don't they
for
cut costs?
years.
I mean, that's
When was
my
last
thing.
time
Why,
the Italian
why
league
try
got
to
a
find the
big name
easy
player
way out?
besides
Just
Ronaldo?
cut costs, you know?
Well, they have been.
They
cutting
have.
costs.
They have.
A lot of players have had to take
A lot of,
pay
yeah,
cuts.
yeah, a lot of major.
take pay cuts.
And you see that they don't have fans.
Florentino Perez said that like the television rights that Real receive is 20% of their income. The television rights that Granada and smaller clubs receive, that probably makes up 80% of their budget. Which, I mean, like, when you look at it from owner perspective, I get that. But, like, okay, like, you're going about it a horrible way. You know what I'm saying? You're not understanding the culture of soccer, and you're not showing why this should be done.
I think his reputation goes down. After with this incident, I think his
reputation has
it
been
just
down
goes,
since the
it
2000s.
goes down, man.
Since they
It
bought,
just goes- it
ever
goes
since he
down.
showed up to Real Madrid, became the president, and got the Galacticos, that man has been hated. And if you're a Real Madrid fan, of course you love him because he gets you the big names. He's a successful, maybe the richest
Yeah.
man in Spain.
He's been,
He knows how to do.
he knows he's a
he knows how to do
businessman.
business.
He
No doubt
knows.
that even the way he communicated on there, like, bro, like, he believes this 1,000%. I get that, right? But the thing is, like, if you cannot convince everybody to jump on, like, and you see the ramifications of it now. Like, now you're being put in a negative spotlight. Before it was just like, oh, it's Fiorentino, he gets his way. Now it's, oh, he's trying to change the culture of what we're trying to do. So I think the light on him is going to be totally different now.
But this is what I was hearing on I was hearing a podcast, and they were saying he's the only one that he was the only one that came out, because the rest of them, none of them have. But he actually
They're
put
scared.
Well, besides, I know he's a president, but he put his face out there. Like, he had that courage to do that, and the rest of these owners have not at all. Like, they haven't even gone to the meeting. Exactly.
But they know, or UEFA knows who they are, who those people are.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Behind those teams. And don't worry about the reputation. That guy is probably one of the most hated men as well at the same time. Because when you're successful,
I think he'll be okay.
You're gonna be hated.
I think he'll be okay at Real Madrid, because Madrid fans know that in a way they do need him. He gets the big.
Yeah.
He gets the big names. He gets the big names. Regardless, like,
he makes things happen.
Beckham, Ronaldo.
When he says
Nazario,
something's gonna happen, he makes it happen every summer.
Yeah,
right now he's
like,
not saying Mbappé is coming, but he said that Real Madrid needs to revolutionize. In other words, he's gonna get some names out.
Exactly. So I wouldn't be so like. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people he will lose a lot of respect in the soccer world because of what he's done. But overall, as a Madrid fan, like, I'm not even a Madrid fan, man. I'm a Barca fan. And I think as a Madrid fan, like, you still need him in your club because he can get you those big names. And then he's rebuilding the stadium right now too, you know?
What do you think is going to be the biggest outcome of what just happened?
We're gonna see maybe FIFA, UEFA, all these
clubs,
organizations of Europe and maybe throughout the world look at themselves in the mirror. What are we doing? Maybe we need to improvise, because sometimes, like, I'll give you a random example. Whoever was first in some business, there's always competition, and then competition makes you better. And when you see somebody being successful, you want a piece as well of that gold. And that's what we saw right now. And I think now FIFA is going to look at themselves and what they're doing with Qatar, all these things.
I think they need to come to an agreement. Both club owners,
they will.
And both, because it's just,
even if,
for me, both sides are wrong in a way.
And I even think they had that discussion in terms of, like, when they started the Super League talk. They were like, listen, guys, this is just what I think, right? They're probably like, if nothing else happens and this is a travesty, like, we're actually going to open the door to have conversations as to, look, we did this because we want to change. All right, let's negotiate something for it to be better. Let these bigger clubs earn more income, or whatever deal comes
be
out
less
of it.
greedy. That's where I was going.
And I think
worst case scenario, UEFA and FIFA will have to talk to us, and we'll have to come with a better agreement than what we have now.
So my question now is, will there be accepted back? I know they will, but will there be any repercussions? As will they have?
I don't think there should be any repercussions for the clubs. I think there should be repercussions for the owners. That's the only people that are involved in this. Nobody else is. And, like, giving punishment to players or coaches is really stupid because they didn't really do anything.
You could see that the coaches were not for it. Most of them.
I want to see how this folds. So I want to see what FIFA does.
I really
want to see what FIFA does, because it's in the Premier League, they were talking about the 14 teams, besides the Big Six. They were talking about that they came, they had an emergency reunion supposedly today, and they still want the Big Six to come back. I mean, the league needs the Big Six.
That's why I don't think there'd be any repercussions.
Yeah. So
I think if anything, it was more of a power play. Like, right now, like, okay, UEFA and the leagues are up, but I think that it's a good opportunity for the big clubs to renegotiate certain things. I mean, in England, they're already not happy that the top six don't think that everybody deserves the equal amount of money for the television rights. And I mean, I believe them. I think that's true. Like, you're going to watch a Liverpool Tottenham more than you're going to watch a Burnley West Brom. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, if anything, I feel like this is a good open negotiation, which is probably something that they said, okay, if plan A fails, this is what plan B will be.
And I would have liked, if it's still not going to happen, to see a one season, one tournament. See it.
Yes, no, I actually was gonna say this too. I would be curious to see how it folds. Just I know, but it's just out of curiosity. I would really want to see what you're saying. Just 1 year. Try it 1 year.
There wasn't,
and I know it's not gonna happen, but like I said, just to see how it folds, to see how it's organized.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
What I don't like is that these Premier League teams, right now, what they did, they signed something on Sunday, and now less than 48 hours, they back up.
It's all because of the fans, though. I feel like it has.
They should have known that was going to happen.
The fans are the ones that really.
This is not
sparked everything.
They probably
though.
knew that, but they didn't understand that the government's getting involved. They didn't understand that everybody and their mom.
England is getting more fire because of this. England, you'll see more
even
drama.
If you saw
about
it in the Chelsea game today. There was tons of fans outside of the stadium not letting players in,
right.
Not letting the bus in. Like
that
wasn't gonna go away in 2 days. And like, I think the final straw was seeing like. All the Liverpool players came out and said they were against it. Executives that are important in each of these clubs weren't for it. And I mean, like, internally and externally, everything is a no, except for the people that actually own the club. That's why it was never going to happen.
That's the problem. It was more a money thing. And I see that point as well, where it shouldn't be like that, where the poor don't really get this or don't get that. Because soccer, football, come on now. It comes from the poor. It comes from the street. 100%. Brazil, all these kids, Rashford. Look at none of them were born in this status, in this level. They all worked hard.
Even
Cristiano Ronaldo.
He said, "Hey man, I grew up in the Belgian system. Went to Germany. Went to England. Now I get a chance to play at the highest level, but I get to compete." He's like, I don't want it to be given to me. I want it to be.
And that's what football is about.
I will say this though. This was before I arrived here. The big six have parted ways from the Super League. So just a heads up for everybody that is watching this.
Said that at the beginning.
They know. No, you didn't.
It's down to 16.
No, you didn't, man.
It's down to 6.
Did you really say that?
We've been talking about the whole time.
I've been here, bro.
I just don't like the part of the big six. How do you go about it? Because this wasn't an overnight decision.
No, they've been planning this
2 years.
There's a video
about it.
There's a video of Laporta.
I knew about it. We knew.
It was like a 171-page document. Like you don't do that during the weekend.
No,
I
knew
about it.
That
knew about it. That it was coming at some point. It was just a matter.
Laporta in 04.
We can talk about.
There's a video. There's a clip. I was hearing it. And Laporta had you hear this clip, and they since 04, man, they had already been planning something like this.
Actually, in the World Cup in 1986, inside of one of the balls, it said that the Super League would happen in 2020.
What was World Cup?
He's lying.
What was 1986 World Cup?
Who won it? Who won it?
Argentina.
El Maradona. Wasn't it against Germany?
Against
Germany?
Italy.
No, wasn't it against Germany, bro?
It wasn't.
Brazil, bro.
Against who?
I don't even remember now.
Man.
Who lifted it?
Maradona.
La Maradona.
Awesome. This concludes another episode of the Topbin90 Show, boys. Thank you so much for coming on.